1:32.560. That was about a 10 faster than Pecco Bagnaia. It was just over half a second over the line behind the fellow Italian.
We're about to find out on this lap, though, what kind of race pace Fabio Quartararo has underneath him. It's the first lap, really, where he's got any kind of clear track ahead of him. He's got an 0.8 of a second gap to make up as Maverick Viñales now shows over front wheel behind Pecco Bagnaia. But Quartararo now has a bit of clear track to try and close the gap to this leading quartet. He's 0.8 behind at the moment.
Viñales just got in a fraction too hot there, maybe just picking up some dirty air behind Bagnaia's factory Ducati, just in a little bit hot there going into turn number 8.
Alex Rins has just passed Jorge Martin, so we've had a change for 7th place. So Rins' charge up the field continues. Personal best of that lap for Luca Marini. He's now the fastest rider of this leading group. Marc Marquez watches on how much he would love to be in and amongst this battle. The 8-time world champion will be testing here on Tuesday and Wednesday, and of course his return to competitive action will hopefully be not too long after that. But for now he has to watch, and what an absorbing 10th Grand Prix he's watching, and still any one of 6 or 7 riders could still win this.
Credit to Andrea Dovizioso, he's just set his fastest lap of the Grand Prix as well at 1:33.095, keeping himself in 12th place. He's a long way behind Brad Binder in 11th. Raul Fernandez, Darren Binder and Stefan Bradl are completing your point-scoring finishers. Jack Miller's just on a 1:33.737. He's in 18th place, having remounted, crashed out of the lead early on in his second lap. Into turn number 4. Betseki's down in 20th place, the Gian Antonio 21st. Those three, of course, were all very early fallers in this Misano battle.
Oh, there's a change just up ahead there between Bagnaia and Viñales. Bagnaia's back up ahead. We're on board with Luca Marini. It's still Bagnaia who leads this Grand Prix now at the moment, but we were seeing just how good Marini was through that fast sequence of right-handers. He really closed in on the back of Enea Bastianini, but there's no way through into turn 12. It really does tighten on you. If you try and sniff a gap, it just closes in front of your eyes. So Luca Marini having to hold on to 4th place at the moment, but Maverick Viñales sitting in 2nd place certainly would appear at the moment as if he's got more pace than Bagnaia up ahead of him. And just to underline the Aprilias, Aleix Espargaro sets the fastest lap once again, a 1:32.449.
Oliveira and Binder then, they are starting to really get into their speed, aren't they? Oliveira was really fast on that last lap, 1:32.744. Bettered marginally by Brad Binder. The pace is starting to really hot up here at the front as well, because Pecco Bagnaia and Maverick Viñales, they exchanged fastest laps of the Grand Prix. Listen to this, folks. There were 0.02 of a second difference between Bagnaia and Viñales on that last lap. It was advantage Viñales by the narrowest of margins. It's so close between the top 2 men at the front of this Misano Grand Prix. Viñales now the fastest man on circuit by just 0.02 of a second. 12 laps to go here in Misano. Viñales trying to pick up a bit of slipstream on that factory Aprilia. He won't be close enough to attack Bagnaia on the brakes into Quercia corner.
Not only was Bagnaia 0.02 of a second quicker than, or slower than Viñales, but Luca Marini was only a further 0.02 of a second slower than them in 4th place. So the pace is really hotting up, as you say, and it's proving too hot at the moment as we go wide there with Bastianini. Luca Marini's more than happy to take advantage of that, and the first MotoGP podium now becomes a real prospect for Marini. Bastianini, though, keen to take it back immediately.
Yeah, Bastianini just squared him off there, didn't he? How crucial, though, could that be with the time lost for Bastianini? A mistake, a rare mistake by him going in to Tramonto. You just felt that came from the fact that he could see Bagnaia and Viñales by a whisker were just that little bit quicker than him on that previous lap. He could just sense maybe that they was starting to go for it, trying to up the pace here and break away, and he just made that mistake. It didn't cost him too much because he recovered the plates, immediately accelerating out of Tramonto on Marini. Let's just check the lap times and how much did that cost Bastianini on that lap. Again, brilliant by Bagnaia and Viñales. It cost him half a second because Bagnaia and Viñales do 1:32.3 for Pecco, a 1:32.2 for Maverick Viñales. Another best lap from him. Bastianini did indeed lose half a second with that key mistake at Tramonto. And
Quartararo can't match this pace at the moment as Bagnaia takes a bit of a tighter line into Rio. It just brings Viñales ever so closer. Viñales has often shown a front wheel as we come out of turn 6 and onto the back straight. This is as close as he's been. And there you see him now pulling over to his left, the right as we look, but no way through on the inside. Bagnaia, as always, so good on the brakes. But as mentioned, this pace is proving too hot for Fabio Quartararo, who's losing ground now in 5th.
Again, Viñales was the quickest of that top 3 again on that previous lap. Luca Marini just maybe struggling for pace a little bit as it came through Quercia corner. Again, Viñales just in a little bit hot.
Yeah, as you say, Luca Marini starting to fade ever so slightly, although he is still holding a very comfortable 4th place at the moment. Fabio Quartararo had a poor lap last time around. He was back in the mid 133s. He actually lost a second to Aleix Espargaro behind him. Any hope of catching that top 4 was well and truly gone now for the world champion.
Yeah, this mistake here from Vinales into the Quecha corner cost him 2/10. He came through that first split just over 10 down on Bagnaia. He came through the second sector nearly 4/10 down. That's just given a bit of breathing space for Pecco Bagnaia. You can see up at Tremonto there, Enea Bastianini, he was thinking about a move on the inside of Vinales. The door was slammed shut in his face. Marini is losing touch here, as you can see. It might be a lonely 4th place for him. He just hasn't got the late race pace of the 3 men directly ahead of him. Aleix Espargaro, it's a bit of a lonely 6th place for him as it stands right now. Here comes Enea Bastianini then on the inside of Maverick Vinales. The big move coming from the Beast, and he starts to charge towards Bagnaia at the front. The Beast, Enea Bastianini up into 2nd place at the first corner, through on Vinales.
This will feel worryingly ominous for the rest of this leading trio. Vinales unable to fight back into the Rio corner. How often do we see Enea Bastianini in the closing stages of Grand Prix? He's able to manage that rear tyre, and he's got a level of pace and grip that no one else has. He's got 7/10 of a second up ahead of him to Pecco Bagnaia. A lot will be told in this next lap or so to see if Bastianini can jump straight across that gap and give us perhaps a rerun of what we saw at Le Mans earlier this year.
Yeah, Bastianini now just has to make sure that he doesn't get quickly passed by Vinales, because Bagnaia is going for it here. He is starting to open up the biggest lead we've seen in this Grand Prix. You felt like Enea Bastianini knew he had to make that move. Vinales had sat behind Pecco Bagnaia for so much of this Grand Prix without being able to find a way through. Bastianini now picks up the baton. What can he do in response? There's a quick dashboard message going the way of Pecco Bagnaia. The gap, 8 laps remaining, 0.3. In reality, it's actually much more than that. He was nearly 7/10 quicker than Bastianini through the second split. Bagnaia is thinking about a bit of payback here for Le Mans, isn't he? When he cracked under the pressure from Enea Bastianini in that French Grand Prix. At that stage, Enea Bastianini looked like a real serious championship contender. There's been too many DNFs since that point. The Ducati team egg on, they cheer on. Look at the tension over the face of the pitboard man from Pecco Bagnaia's team. Over the line they come. There was less than 1/10 of a second between them. Quartararo is really hunting down Luca Marini here, isn't he? On that last lap, he took 3/10 out of the Italian. Now then, here comes Bastianini. He's got great corner speed through turn number 3. Will he be closer with the attack on the brakes in the rear corner? No, not quite.
Yeah, the right leg goes out from Pecco Bagnaia. He's slightly wider, though, than Bastianini. Bastianini will now get a good run on him as they go through turn 6, and now the run down to Quecha. You can see, though, on the way out of the corner, the acceleration of Bagnaia, he does pull away slightly. He's still too far back.
My heart rate's going off the scale. I'm sure yours at home as well. What's going through the minds of Pecco Bagnaia and Enea Bastianini right now, and Ducati management, because they'd have liked to do it in a much more relaxing scenario than this, because they're going through Tremonto. That's where Bastianini has been so good. Long lap penalty coming the way of Miguel Oliveira. He's down in 10th place. That might cost him that 10th spot. Now then, Bastianini, he wound up for a move on the last lap against Fabio Quartararo for 3rd place, going into the Caro corner, didn't he, last time around?
Bagnaia almost on the green now. I don't think he's been given a track limits warning, but as we head on to the final lap, that could be significant. You cannot afford, in a battle as close as this, to go out onto the green. That could decide who wins this Grand Prix.
There's so much to this battle other than the race win here. Of course, they are future teammates. There was a few words exchanged at the start of the season between these two. Pecco Bagnaia denying that he was trying to influence the Ducati decision to keep Jack Miller alongside him in 2023. Last lap on the way then here in what's been an epic showdown between Pecco Bagnaia and Enea Bastianini. 4.2 kilometres remaining, 16 corners. It's still Bagnaia that holds this lead, but here comes Bastianini. This is one of your favourite overtaking hotspots here in Mazzano. Can he get close enough to attack into turn 4? Oh, he's gone wide. Has that cost him the chance here? The Beast went for it. Bagnaia, though, will not know how close that was. They go through turn 6. That's Bastianini blown here on the last lap. Yeah,
it's cost him a crucial time. He's 4/10 of a second behind Pecco Bagnaia. Now he's going to have to get on with it quickly and close back in. He was so desperate not to run into the back of the fellow Ducati and had to go wide. That might be the mistake that swings this Bagnaia's way.
Well, what have we got left, really, in terms of overtaking opportunities? Here's one of them into turn 10. That's gone now for Enea Bastianini.
Look how he closes in.
You've got to think now maybe about Cavode, or will it be the block pass going into Caro corner, or will he leave it even later? Are we set for a last lap, last corner thriller here in Mazzano? Through Cavode we go. Enea Bastianini not close enough. He's running out of time here, the Beast. I don't think he's going to be close enough to get attacking on Pecco Bagnaia. The 63 fans are on their feet. It's coming late here for Enea Bastianini. It's going to have to be the last corner, isn't it? It will have to be all or nothing at the final corner. It's Bagnaia versus Bastianini. They come now through turn 15. Pecco Bagnaia surely has this one covered off. Here comes Bastianini. No, he's not been close enough. He thought about it, but it will be Pecco Bagnaia surely that will take the victory here in Misano. Here comes Bastianini. Bastianini. Oh, how close was that? How close was that?
300ths of a second.
300ths of a second between Pecco Bagnaia and Enea Bastianini at the finish line. Look at the celebrations there in the factory Ducati garage.
How did Enea Bastianini set the fastest lap of the race on the final lap, despite that mistake at turn 4?
Without that mistake at turn 4, that outcome might have been completely different. But it's Pecco Bagnaia that wins an absolute thriller here in Misano by the narrowest of margins. 300ths of a second he took it from Enea Bastianini.
A thrilling last lap and a dream day for Ducati as Francesco Bagnaia takes the win.